War rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and our FLGS partner, Warpfire Minis. Today's battle showcases beautiful thematic dice from Baron of Dice. Grab your own or get a custom set made at baronofdice.com.
Hello and welcome to Season of War! Today we are excited to bring you another game of Age of Sigmar. My name's Jordan. I'm joined by Fred today. Happy to have you back.
Thanks for having me over. Great to be back on the channel.
Yep, you're in the province, in town, so we had to get a game in for sure. But Fred, we've got an all-death matchup here today. Some Soulblight Gravelords on both sides, but I am playing the Bonereapers against your Gravelords. But jumping right into things, the mission we're playing today is close to the chest. So there's 6 objectives on the table. For storing, you get 1 point for hold 1, 1 point for hold 2, 2 points for hold more, and then 2 points if you take your opponent's primary objective that they will choose. Now, if you're the underdog, you can roll a dice, and on 5 up, you can make them choose a new primary objective. But that's how you can store your 6 primary points, and then normal 4 for battle tactic. Yeah. And then, do you just want to take us through your Soulblight list?
100%. So I brought a lot of meat to the table today. I got a 2-drop to make sure that I get a bit of board control earlier on. So I got 2 packs of zombies, 1 on the table here and 1 in the grave that I can pop throughout my turn, throughout the game. I got 10 direwolf, 20 direwolves, 20 Graveguard for the hammers, and some Death Knights for the hammers as well. Maybe a bit more flexible, but like quite reliable on the charge. And then I got Torgilius and the Necromancer as support pieces. And the Death Stench Battalion, which allows me to pile in at the end of each turn and trigger possibly up to 3 mortal wounds.
Well, to face off against them, I'm playing the Bonereapers, as I said. Notably, we have Mannfred's Regiment of Renown in here, which obviously includes himself, a unit of 10 Graveguards, so not 20, but then I do have 2 units of 3 Fellbats with them as well, so it gives me some good variety of units and a deep strike threat. And then for OBR stuff, I have 2 regiments. One is led by my Soul Reaper, who is my general. He has the command trait that reduces charges by 2 if you're within 12, and then the artifact that gives him a 5-up ward. In his regiment, I have a unit of 3 Immortus Guard, who will actually be his bodyguard here. We'll try that out, and then also in the regiment is a unit of 4 Morghast. They're obviously a huge damage dealer in OBR. Then I have another regiment with the Soul Mason and just a unit of 20 Mortet Guard. Fred, I was 3 drops here to your 2, so you do have choice of who goes first.
So I'm going to take the first turn today, solidify the castle, and make sure I can take most of the objective to make sure I get to score more.
All right, so we'll jump into Soulblight Gravelords, turn 1.
So my battle tactic is going to be seize the center.
And I'm going to choose my central objective here for my primary one, no surprise.
I'm going to start with the lash, maybe if I can move a couple d6, a couple inches, yeah, so 2+. I'll move an extra 6. Now for casting, I'm going to try to bring the cogs in with the Necromancer. 7, yep.
I'll try to unbind it. We did a 9.
Oh, good, good, good. And then I will try the Aetherwork Pendulum. 8 with Torgilius.
I'll try to unbind that, and no, we tie it.
So that's the end of my hero phase. So I'm jumping into movement. I'm gonna auto run with Torgilius here for 1 CP. And I'm gonna bring down my zombies in the middle of the table.
Nice.
Let's clog it up.
Flooding the battlefield with the risen undead and bestial minions, the Soulblight Gravelords establish their presence, challenging their enemy to try and deal with their endless hordes.
So at the end of my turn, I'll score 1, 2 more in my battle tactic.
So 8 points here for the round. Obviously, always hard to get the primary turn 1.
Yeah. Knowing that I don't have a lot of offensive tools, I figured I might try to pin Jordan down to his bottom of the table right now.
Yep.
Try to clog the board as much as possible, knowing that I can bring back a lot of stuff throughout the turn, so things need to start dying quick for me to use my abilities and make the most of the army. In this particular scenario, it's hard to get 1-2 more, knowing that Jordan has only beasts on the side that won't be able to contest the objective as much. Then I decided to take the first turn and try to surround him as much as possible. For sure, maybe I'll get like punished with the Graveguard coming out of the back, but I try to protect my heroes as much as possible. Necromancer having an extra ward, being closer to the Graveguard, and then Torgilius being in the middle. If I lose a couple Black Knights, if I lose a couple Wolves, it's not the end of the world. I can always try to bring them back, and then once the Graveguard are there, they're kind of stuck there for a little while.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely a lot to chew through for me, so. With that, I guess, yeah, we'll head into OCR Bonereapers, turn 1. All right, so my battle tactic this turn is going to be take the flanks.
And my primary is going to be this guy here, no surprise.
Yes. All right, then into spell casting. And I'm going to start by casting Drain Vitality with my Soul Mason onto your dogs.
Perfect.
And that'll go off with an 8.
Perfect. I'm going to try to unbound this. 3, 4, 5. No.
So that's going to give them -1 to hit and -1 to save.
Perfect.
And then the Soul Mason's going to try and cast Empower Nadirite Weapons onto my Morghast, which will go off with a 7.
I'll try to unbind that as well. No, you got it.
Okay, so they'll have exploding 5s in combat.
Spicy.
Then my Soul Reaper is going to try and cast Shard Storm on your zombies, and that'll go off with a 10. So it'll be 40 dice, mortals on 5s.
Let's go.
So that'll be 17 mortal wounds.
17, 6 up. 5.
And then my Bone Tithe Nexus is going to use the Punishment of Agony for -1 to hit, and I'm going to try and put that on your center block of zombies. That will go off.
Sounds good.
-1. And then Mannfred's going to use my ability from the Regiment of Renown to teleport outside 6 inches. And then he's going to cast the Suffocating Gravetide, but fails. And then the Purple Sun, but gets it off. And that's going to be it for my hero phase. And then heading into movement, my Soul Reaper is going to issue Unstoppable Advance to give everything wholly within 12 inches. That's OBR, plus 2 inches of movement.
Perfect.
All right, that's it for my movement phase. And I have no shooting, so right into charges. We're gonna start off with Mannfred looking for a 6.
6. You
That's
got
an
it.
8. And we'll try with the Purple Sun. It gets a 10,
yeah.
so we'll put that into. Then we'll go with the 3d6 charge on the Morghast
That's
for
spicy.
14. And then the Soul Mason is going to issue Coordinated Charge to give everything wholly 12 of him, plus 1 to charge. And that's it for my charge phase. So into combat, Mannfred's going to try and get strikes first on a 3-up. He does.
Yes.
And the Soul Mason is going to use Impenetrable Ranks for the 5-up ward bubble, which the Morghast will use their ability to count as if they're in range once per turn. And then into the fighting, we just gotta start with Mannfred.
Sounds good.
And he will use all-out attack here.
And I will use an all-out defense.
Striking first, Mannfred starts things off by taking down 3 Black Knights. Next, the Soul Reaper deals 4 damage to the Dire Wolves, then he activates the Mortek Guard who deal 12 more. The zombies then use all-out attack and deal 2 damage to the Morghast, who used all-out defense. The Purple Sun then fails to deal any damage, and the Black Knights deal 2 wounds to Mannfred. Rounding things out, the Immortus Guard finish off the Dire Wolves, and the Morghast take down 22 zombies, but they suffer 1 mortal damage in return.
And because I have the command points, I am going to use a power through with Mannfred and deal, let's see, 1 mortal wound to the Black Knights.
6 up? No.
And he's just going to pop out over here.
Yeah.
Not afraid of being outnumbered, the elite warriors of the Ossiarch Bonereapers take the fight to the undead hordes, cutting them down in swaths as they prepare for the next wave.
And that's going to be it for my turn. I was, I think, pleasantly surprised with how it went.
Yeah.
The big risks were, I mean, the teleport wasn't a huge risk because it's a 6-inch charge, but still with a redeploy, there's the potential that it could go badly. But obviously, CP hungry in this edition right now. I was fortunate to get the Purple Sun into combat too. Didn't do much damage, but it helped with the extra rend for Mannfred. That was bait for getting me hold more, which will keep us tied going into the second round. Obviously, I'm very happy with that against an army like Soulblight and all the zombies and wolves. I would just want to make sure I can, keep scoring. So fortunate about that. And then the Fellbats did their job of just being not wholly within my territory and on the 6 of the board edges. So they did their job to get my battle tactic. And I think, the center, things went kind of as well as I could have hoped to be able to fully clear that unit. It is with the buffs I have, it is fairly defensive in there. We got -1 hit on your zombies if they do come in. So at least I'm hopefully in this battle of attrition that Soulblight always is, I'm hopefully not going to be losing too much.
Yeah, definitely in a better position, right? Being able to strike with different units, knowing that the saves is so low, that's kind of the way to go, I feel, for armies like that.
Yeah. So Pan's out here, and I'll store my 8 points for hold 1, hold 2, hold more for 4, and then 4 for the battle tactic. And then I'll send this into priority for round 2.
Good luck.
Good luck. It's a 2 for me, a 4 for Soulblight.
Now we'll take the initiative.
Okay.
And let's get into round 2 for Soulblight. So beginning of turn for Soulblight, I'm gonna do what I do best. I'm gonna take their land with a bunch of zombies in the middle of the table and try to clog it even more.
All right, for my primary objective is going to be this one in the middle again.
In terms of casting, I'm gonna try to make the Immortus Guard fight last with Torgilius. On a 5, it does not go through. So yeah, for my second cast, I'll cast Vile Transference with the Necromancer, targeting the Mortec. I need a 7. And a 4, doesn't do it. Lash of the Sire with the Necromancer to try to move on a 2+. Yes, they move 6. So I'll move the Graveguard.
And we'll spend a command point here with Mannfred for magical intervention and try and cast the Soul Snare Shackles, which will get off on a 7.
Perfect. Let me see if I can unbind. No, double 1. So because Mannfred is within 18 of the Necromancer, on a 2+, he'll take a number of mortal wound. So 3 mortal wounds.
All right, wards. He suffers 3. And then the Shackles are going to try and do some mortals. We'll start with the Black Knights. It fails, and into the Graveguard. It also fails, so not the best cast.
So start a movement phase for Soulblight. And I think I'm gonna retreat with the Black Knight. So let's see if I take some mortals. So 1 on the 6 up. No. So 1 Blood Knight dies. 1 Black Knight dies. So I'm gonna spend the CP and bring back some doggos. That's the end of my movement phase.
All right, we're gonna try it out and go for a redeploy with Mannfred. Make use of his ability. And he's moving 6 inches.
Big 6. And let's go to charges. So I'll charge with the Graveguard over here. 8. So end of my charge phase. So we'll start to see if the Necromancer gives the guard fight twice on a 3 up. No. So I'm gonna activate with the Black Knight first.
And Mannfred will use all-out defense.
The Black Knights deal 4 damage to Mannfred, leaving him with just 5 health left. Next, the Purple Sun kills 2 Graveguard, then the Undead Warriors use all-out attack and take down the Purple Sun. The Black Knights then use all-out defense when Mannfred retaliates, but he still takes down 3 more of the cavalry. While unable to make Mannfred pay for his betrayal, the Soulblight Gravelords reclaim the objective he'd stolen and continue to march their hordes across the battlefield.
End of turn for Soulblight. I score my battle tactic, which is take their lands, and I score 1, 2, 3, but not more, for 6. So decent turn for Soulblight. I think the goal is just to regain a bit of control on this end of the objectives. Try to swarm the middle, make sure that it's harder for Jordan to come towards me. The big 6-inch redeploy with Mannfred was huge because I was hoping to get the Graveguard in Mannfred through the Purple Sun as a kind of a rally, right? But then happy that a couple of wolves are back on the table as well to come and clog the board a bit more, and then asserting myself really in the middle of the board for now. Yeah,
no, still a lot to chew through, and it's already started to come back, so that's definitely always something to worry about. But with the objectives, we did stop the hold more at least, and that'll see us head into Ossiarch Bonereapers turn 2. All right, for my battle tactic here, I'm gonna go for take their land, and I'm gonna choose this wood over here in your territory, and I obviously have to control that this turn.
So the primary objective is going to be the middle one over here.
Then in spell casting, Mannfred is going to try and dispel your manifestation. He gets that on an 11.
Sounds good.
And then my Soul Reaper is going to cast Shard Storm on your zombie horde. That'll go off with an 11.
I'm gonna try to unbind that. Looking for a 12? No, 3.
And that'll be 9 mortal wounds in total.
Looking for 6s. Oh, not too bad. Saves 3.
Now, that probably isn't going to pan out too much, but we will try to make the zombies -1 to hit again. And we do. And then I'm gonna cast Drain Vitality on your dogs in the back. That will fail on a 5. And lastly, the Soul Mason's going to cast the Suffocating Gravetide, which will go off on a 7.
7? Might as well try to unbind, looking for an 8. No.
And then finally, I'm going to do my teleport with the Graveguard here for my Regiment ability.
Yep.
And then that's it for my hero phase.
For Soulblight hero phase, we're going to use Deathly Invocation. So we're going to bring back 6 zombies. 3 because of Torgilius, and then 3 because of the Allegiance ability. So the goal here is to try to shield the wolves. And then we're going to bring back the Graveguards as well.
All right, and then into movement. And then the Soul Mason's going to use Unstoppable Advance to give this stuff over here +2 to move.
Perfect.
And I am going to use the Morghast ability once per turn to make them count as if they're in range.
Don't forget you can get access to 4 extra battle reports every month by supporting the channel through our YouTube membership. Hit the join button below the video to learn more.
And that's going to be it for my movement phase.
So Soulblight movement, I'll use my last CP to redeploy the Graveguard, see what I can get. For a 1, being consistent.
And then into charges, I'm going to start off with the Graveguard, looking for their 6.
Yep.
They make it. And then the Morghast will do their 3d6.
Yep.
For a 14. And then the Soul Reaper is going to use Coordinated Charge for the +1 bubble over here of +1 to charge.
Yep.
We'll start with the Soul Reaper for an 8. And that's going to be it for my charges. So in combat, I am going to start here with the Graveguard and put their attacks into the Black Knights. And they will have the +1 attack because they teleported. And at the start of the combat phase, the Soul Reaper is going to use Bludgeon for a +1 to wound aura.
Perfect.
The Graveguard attack and cleanly dispatch the remaining Black Knights. Then the zombies in the southwest fail to deal any damage. The Morghast then use all-out attack and fight the opposing Graveguard, dealing 18 damage, but that allows 2 Graveguard to survive. Then lastly, the Soul Reaper takes down 3 zombies, and the Immortus Guard finish them off. Continuing to cleave through the innumerable undead, the Ossiarch Bonereapers prove their martial superiority and take firm control of the western flank of the battlefield.
All right, that's it for OCR turn, and I'm pretty happy with it all. I'll store 8 points here. There's a realm, or there was a world in which I could have gone with the Graveguard for your home objective, but I didn't get the -1 hit and save on your dog, so it would have been a big risk. But because they're beasts, I just would have needed 2 Graveguard to survive. But again, just wasn't worth the risk, especially not getting that spell off, and I really wanted to protect Mannfred. He couldn't reliably kill those the Black Knights because he just a few attacks and swinging, but the Graveguard obviously did a good job. And having them there allowed the Morghast to tag them and then not get hit by the Graveguard and hit them first, which was big. Now 2 lived, which is always annoying.
But it's almost even worse because then I can't bring them back somewhere else, right?
Yeah, not yet. So maybe we'll just leave those 2, but you can also rally them so they didn't become a bigger threat. But that is going to be it for the turn. I will store hold 1, hold 2, and hold more. And then the battle tactic for a total of 8 points. So it will give me a 2-point advantage, but makes you the underdog going into round 3. So we can jump into priority. That's
3.
a 5. And I think it could go either way. I think I would have the opportunity to do some good damage and have a good turn if I took it, but I think it's kind of even either way, so we might as well give away the turn here so we can still store the battle tactic. And go into Soulblight Gravelords, turn 3.
So we're getting into round 3 for Soulblight Gravelords. My battle tactic is going to be Inevitable Demise. So I need to get 2 units completely in Jordan's territory, 9 inches away from any other enemy units. I'm going to start with a rally on the Graveguard. So I get 5 back. I'm going to try to banish the shackles as well on a 7.
You get it.
Then I'll use also Deadly Invocation to bring back 3 more Graveguard. I'll use my Necromancer and try to get the Morghast to fight last. I need a 7, so I got a 9.
We'll try to unbind it. On an 8, you get it.
Perfect. I'm going to try to use a Lash of Sire on the Necromancer so the dog can move a bit forward on a 2+. Yeah, they'll move d6 for 1. That's it for the end of the hero phase for Soulblight Gravelord.
All right, I will spend 1 command point here and rally Mannfred. And he'll heal 3 wounds.
So beginning of movement phase, we'll start by running the zombies forward. I'm going to spend a CP for auto run. And I will spend a CP to bring back some units from the grave. So that's the end of movement for Soulblight Gravelord, and we're getting into no shooting phase and no charge phase.
Using their numbers to control the battlefield, the Soulblight Gravelords show that brute force isn't always needed to achieve success, and they manage to reclaim both of the western objectives.
So end of turn for Soulblight Gravelord. We forgot to do the primary at the end.
Yeah, so I would have chosen my middle objective as the primary one, knowing obviously you could teleport and run to the others, but we did forget then also because you're the underdog, you could have made me change it on a 5-up.
Yeah, so I'm a 5-up to make a couple more points. No, I got a 1.
Okay.
Always consistent. So just wrapping up things here for Soulblight Gravelord. Knowing that Jordan's Hammer were kind of on this side of the board, their goal was to kind of go in the opposite and try to put a bit of roadblock on the way. Putting models on every objective, making sure that I'm spreading him as thin as possible. You know, the list is not really meant to win, but it's meant to grind down and score as much points as possible. So I was able to score my battle tactic with the zombies and Torgilius. Move the dog in the middle to make sure that if Jordan needs to redeploy or charge, that he would not get between me and the 9 inches needed for the battle tactic. And then I decided to pop the zombies on his left objective and bring the Graveguard on my objective here, knowing that he can only charge one or the other, which he opted not doing anyway, knowing that the Archive also fight last.
Exactly.
So trying to position myself for the later game and trying to edge the bet of Soulblight Gravelord for the rest.
Yeah, no, obviously you're spreading me out now and lots to deal with, lots came back, so we're gonna keep trying to hack through it all and jump into OCR Bonereapers turn 3.
So for Soulblight Gravelord, primary for this turn is going to be this objective here.
And then my battle tactic is going to be attack on 2 fronts, so I have to take 2 objectives that you control.
Yeah.
And then in spell casting, the Soul Reaper is going to try and cast Empower Nadirite Weapons onto my Immortus Guard. And we'll fail that on a 4. Then the Soul Mason is going to try and cast the Malevolent Maelstrom on an 8.
I will try to unbind that. No, on a 5.
And then he's going to cast Empower Nadirite Weapons on my Mortek Guard on an 8.
Perfect, you can have it.
Okay, so they'll have exploding 5s. And then the Bone Tithe Nexus is going to try and make your big unit of dogs -1 to hit. No, we fail. And then in the hero phase, I'm going to do Mannfred's Teleport to move him, obviously from the Regiment of Renown. And then Mannfred is going to cast Wind of Death and get that off on a 7.
Perfect, I'm going to try to unbind that. On a 9.
Okay, you stop it. So lastly, I guess we'll try and cast the Purple Sun. And fail that on a 6. So that will be it for my hero phase. And into movement. And after the Gravetide moves, it's going to get to try and do some mortal wounds to your Dodros. And it'll deal 7.
Looking for a 6-up? Saves 1.
And that's going to be it for my movement phase. So skipping right to charges, we'll go with, I think, the Morghast first. On a 6 only. I'm going to spend a command point to reroll that one. Into a 14, third
Very
time in a row.
consistent.
Yeah. And the Soul Reaper is going to use the ability for +1 charge nearby him. And that's going to be it for my charges. In the combat phase, I'm going to, with my Soul Reaper, use the ability for the +1 to wound aura. And I will start off combat with the Graveguard, and they'll use all of attack going into your Graveguard.
Perfect, and I'll use an all defense.
The Ossiarch Graveguard deals 6 damage to the Soulblight Graveguard. Then the zombies attack and deal 1 damage to the Immortus Guard. Next, the Mortek Guard take down 5 dire wolves, while the remainder attack the suffocating Gravetide, but deal just 1 damage. Then 2 more wolves are killed by the manifestation. The Soulblight Graveguard then retaliate and deal just 1 damage to their counterpart, and the Soul Reaper and Immortus Guard take down 14 zombies, though 1 Immortus falls to the mortal wounds back. Lastly, the Morghast use all-out defense, but the dire wolves and Necromancer take 1 down, though the remaining 3 Morghast take down the Necromancer and deal 3 wounds to each unit of dire wolves. While carving through their enemies' thralls over and over, the aggression of the Ossiarch Bonereapers pays off as they claim all 3 enemy objectives, which is the first time a primary objective is claimed this battle.
Alright, so Ossiarch Bonereapers turn 3, and we got our tactic. We got hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and your primary here. So the first turn of 10 points. And I pretty much engaged everywhere and didn't really finish the job anywhere. But again, not a lot of your stuff hits very hard. It's mostly about chewing through the wounds. So I'm trying to do that. I did finally take down the Necromancer. He was a nuisance, so I wanted to get rid of him more than I cared about anything else there. And yeah, we had Graveguard on Graveguard action, and I obviously got to hit first, so that was big there. But it's a good turn of scoring here for OBR. So let's see what we can do in the final stages.
Yes.
Priority food. Round 4.
1.
We tie.
Consistency wins this time.
Yep.
So I'm obviously going to take the turn, try to scrape as much as I can and plan for the next battle tactic.
Sounds good. So let's go into Soulblight, turn 4.
All right, so turn 4 for Soulblight Gravelord, I'm going to try Do Not Waver. So it just means that I need to fight with 2 units and have none of them slain. In terms of casting, I'm going to try to get the cogs out. On a 7.
Try to unbind it. No, you did it.
I will use Deadly Invocation to bring back a dog. And that's it for my hero phase. Beginning of movement for Soulblight. I'm going to retreat with my Graveguard. Taking D3 mortals for 1. I'm also going to retreat with the dogs. And take D3 mortals for 3. 6 up wards for none, so I lose 2. So I'm going to spend 1 of my CP and bring the knights in to protect the wounded troops.
Yeah.
So shooting, Torgillis is going to shoot into Mannfred for 2d6 shots for 9. I'll use the CP for all-out attack. 2 goes through.
I save them both.
Into charge phase. Got a 9-inch with the knights to try to protect. So looking for 9. Got a 6. Just going to spend a CP. Let's see if I can do it. Nope. 7.
So close. Okay, so I have probably, what is it, a 5 or 6 inch charge to try and deny a battle tactic?
Yeah, probably 5.
All right, well, we gotta do it then. We'll spend this 2 CP, take the gamble.
May you roll like I roll.
Yes, looking for a 5. Oh, there's the 10.
Yeah.
You do get to fight first, though.
Yeah. So I will activate with my 3 Graveguard.
The Graveguard only deal 1 damage to the Betrayers, and the retaliation easily wipes them out. As the fighting continues, a few wounds are dealt back and forth, but it's of little consequence to the larger battle. With their numbers starting to dwindle and tactical options limited, the Soulblight Gravelords struggle to regain objectives, and even have their risky strategic gambit stifled.
End of turn for Soulblight. A bit, it's how it goes sometimes. So
Yeah.
only scoring 1 point, unfortunately.
Yep.
I didn't have much I could do at this point in the game. I tried to gamble on a 9-inch charge to get a bit of, board control
With
and
the
stuff.
reroll, and then I had to make a counter charge and spend 2 CP. So there were a few factors that it was possible. Like it was definitely achievable.
Here
Yeah.
we wrap it up. 1 more point for us, and then getting into Jordan's turn.
All right, yeah, let's go into OBR turn 4. All right, for my battle tactic here, I'm going to go for Inevitable Demise. So have 2 units in your territory outside of 9 inches. I have 2 units of bats that are perfect for that. So then we're going to go into spell casting. The Soul Reaper will try and cast Empower Nadirite Weapons on the Immortus and get that off on a 6. And the Soul Mason will cast the same spell on the Mortet Guard on a 9.
Yep.
Then he'll try and cast Drain Vitality onto your dogs in the middle. That'll go off on a 7.
Then I'll try to unbind with Torgilius. Yeah, 9.
So you stop that. And then we'll go with Mannfred. He's going to try and cast the Purple Sun. He'll get that with a 9.
Yep.
And then he'll use his teleport to come down outside of 6 over here. And then try and cast the Shackles on a 9.
Perfect.
And let's see if the Shackles do any damage. They do, 2 mortals.
Perfect. 6 up? No. So 1 knight takes 2.
And then the Bone Tithe Nexus will try and make the dogs in the middle -1 to hit. It fails. And that's it for my hero phase.
So Soulblight hero phase, I'll bring back 1 dog in the middle. And that'll be it for now.
All right, into movement. And that's going to be it for my movement. So into charges, we'll start with Mannfred. And that's going to be all the charges. We'll see if Mannfred strikes first. Nope.
No. And I'll try to issue a countercharge, try to deny the battle tactic with the zombies here. Looking for a 9. No, 7.
Then in combat, we'll go with the Graveguard first into your 2 dodgers over there.
The Graveguard take down the dire wolves, then Mannfred uses all-out defense when the Black Knights attack, and they deal just 1 damage to the Mortarch. The Soul Reaper and Immortus Guard then finish off the zombies, and the dire wolves deal 3 damage, but are then taken down by the Morghast. Lastly, Mannfred attacks the Black Knights and takes 1 down.
And then at the end of my turn with Soulblight, just to show it off, we're going to blow up the Maelstrom here. And on a 2-up, it'll do D6 mortals. We'll start with the zombies for 6.
Looking for 6s. None.
And then Tordilis will take 5.
Looking for 6s. None.
And then I actually do hit the Mortech Guard as well for 3. And I'll save 1. Then it also hits my Nexus for 3 also. All right, so OBR turn 4 here. We pretty much got everything we needed, other than Mannfred kind of letting us down a little bit. But without all attack, he's not very reliable at all with his damage, so not really a surprise there. The Morghast came in and just obliterated the dogs in the center. Everything else did a little bit of cleanup work to take stuff down. And the Maelstrom actually popped off for 11 mortal wounds to you and 6 to me, so 17 total. It's a pretty good spell. 18? Yeah. It's a pretty good spell, yeah. So not too bad there. All told, it's going to pretty much clinch the game here because I will store hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and your primary plus my battle tactic for 10. So then we can just look at rolling priority for round 5. That's cocked, but you did it.
Okay, so during my turn, I could probably score take the flank.
Yep, you're within range over here.
Yeah, and then move these guys over, and then the best I could do is try to bring back some models on an objective and try to take it as well. So there's nothing over here, so I can probably do like a 1, 2, and then battle tactic.
For 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, so solid
not too bad.
Final turn. I think after that, on the OBR side, all I'd need to do is, you won't have anything in the center, so I just do seize the center turn 5. Maybe if you make that your primary, I have to go and take that with the Morghast or something, but they're pretty good at taking objectives and killing stuff. So I think it'd probably be a final 10 for OBR at the end, but yeah, it was a good grindy game between 2 death armies here.
Definitely have the punch to go through the Soulblight Defender. We were talking a bit like off camera before, like on the role of like a defender in this edition and how tricky it is because of how the lethality works. Yeah. And we can see it today, you know, even with the amount of wounds, like being able to engage with multiple different units, redeploy with the teleport with Mannfred as well I think is a really good complement to the playstyle and to what you brought to the table today.
Yeah, there's lots of different tricks in here, right? Like you said, like the redeploy, the teleports, having the 2 fast skirmish units. Like the bats scored me probably 3 or 4 of my tactics. Like
for 180 points, eh?
Yeah, so they're so good. Mannfred like has 2 casts. That was great for getting extra spells out, and obviously teleporting was around as well. And the Graveguard with +1 attack, 31 attacks is very good, right? They're a reliable 10 damage coming out of them, so pretty solid across the board for that Regiment of Renown.
Well, it moves OBR from being good on a couple of objectives to being good on multiple objectives, right? Which is what we don't really expect, you know. But no, I think that was a good game. I'm happy that we were able to keep as close as possible.
Yep.
Missing a couple things here and there, getting a bit used to the army as well. So, you know, that's always kind of the name of the game. Probably subfaction is something I would like to change for something, maybe giving an extra rend on the death rattle. You know, not being able to really kind of capitalize on the pile in.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, makes sense. But yeah, it was lots to chew through here over and over. But that's what we expect when you play Soulblight. So great game here, though, Fred. Always a pleasure. But we'll wrap things up, guys. We hope you enjoyed that battle report as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget you can get extra content by supporting us through our channel membership. Get an extra battle report every week. But either way, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon in another video.